What's going on, guys? This is Matt with UMB. It is Tuesday, October 21st. Man, what a day today. It was just absolutely awesome. I mean, there was some mixed signals out there. We had a few, tickers pop up like this first one here we're about to look at that kind of didn't really do a lot, but man, we had some absolute monsters today. So for those of you that are new to these videos, what we are doing here is a alert recap video. We have a proprietary alert system that we send out to our alert members, and in that system, all kinds of alerts all through the day, be it, random volume that's pouring in, VWAP bounces or reclaims, EMA stacks, all kinds of good stuff to kind of try and bring, the best alerts possible that we can to you guys. So these videos are essentially a recap of some of those alerts so that we can offer to our alert members a little bit of an insight as to how the analysts here at UMB would deal with these alerts and how we would potentially trade them. So that's what this video is. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. And please get on our socials as well and, hit like and subscribe there. We got a ton of content, guys, and just a ton of really, really good things coming here in the future. So, without getting into any more there, let's get right into it. So as you will see on the left side of the screen here, we have our Telegram group. Just give me 1 second. This is how the alerts actually come through. And it started out this morning with IONZ at 4:17 a.m. So IONZ, we had a bit of a run on it yesterday, so we kind of expected a pop this morning. We got that pop over here right out of the gate, and then after that, it kind of just it didn't really do much. We sent it out as an alert. We thought maybe we would get a little more off this candle here. The alert went out right here on this green candle, so that should have been, right away when you open this chart, you would have said, all right, well, we need to get above this little spike we had, this 410 spike, right, as a potential resistance. From there you could have taken a play. Well, it didn't really do that. It didn't do much. It kind of stayed around VWAP here. It fell off under VWAP. And then the majority of the morning, it didn't do much until we got all the way over here. Finally, we broke this 410 area somewhere in here. If you were watching this chart or happened to open it up, you would have seen that break and could have potentially taken a position in here. So not only did we get the 410 break, but then we pulled up. We got a pullback for your entry, and then bam, another shot up to about 433. So not a huge mover. We pulled under VWAP again, and then we had a decent climb in here up to a high of the day of about 442. So this is where the other strategies come into play. We always talk about this, guys, right? It is the 5-8 13 EMA reclaim strategy. So clearly in here, you could have taken it in multiple places. Coming up under VWAP, you would have got resistance, right? Taking it here, it didn't even make it to VWAP, resistance, taking it here. We finally made it to VWAP, and bam, we broke out back out. So this would have certainly been a VWAP reclaim play in here as well, and you could have rode that thing from about 408 up to 440. Not a bad move at all. This thing did not move very fast all day. It was kind of a slow grinder, but it definitely offered some potential. I mean, this move in here was really nice and super clean, and I mean, rather easy to play, right? So I hope you guys were able to take advantage of this one. It didn't have a ton to offer, but we had some bangers today. So from there, we will go right to the next alert. I mean, at 4:22 this morning, guys, BYND. What an absolute monster. I think it's still going at the time of this recording because it's only 5:45 p.m., so we are still in after hours. I mean, this thing just crushed it today. So let's look at BYND. We will pull that chart up, and it is just an absolute beauty. Earlier in the day, I will show you a trade that I took as well. I actually didn't take it. I paper traded it for recording purposes. So unfortunately, my recording didn't it was all crackly. I had issues and didn't know at the time, but regardless. So BYMB, I mean, just look at this. This is a 1 minute chart all closed up. Look at this thing on the day. It was just a complete beast. So right now we're still sitting up 193% on the day. And this alert came out pretty early, guys. So One thing I do want to show you, look at this, right? We'll go into like a 10-minute chart. I mean, look how beautiful the structure is outside of this dip we had in after hours on the 10-minute. Just an absolute beast. So, and even better on the 5-minute, which is where I took my trade, or at least I recorded a live recording of doing so. I mean, it just looks so beautiful, right? Nice structure, lots of good dip entries. It was just a really nice chart. So let's break down from the start of this morning. It didn't have a lot of action all day, really. Well, not all day, but in the pre-market, right? So the alert came through at 422 on BYND at $1.97. So let's look at that and don't mind the rest of the chart for now. Let's see, 422 in the morning was back here somewhere. So all the way back here, guys, at $1.97 is where that alert came through. You know, if you didn't have eyes on this thing otherwise, I'm just going to blow this up so that we can see it better. So 422 is somewhere in here. No, in here, in this consolidation. So when you pulled this up right away, you know, we didn't have anything to the right of us. You knew that we had support here, support in this location, right? You could have drawn your two lines there. We always speak about support and resistance lines, right? Right away, you would have gotten a line there. You would have gotten one right here. And we were right here in this location. So maybe you would have said, okay, well, I need to mark a high a day, right? So if you did that, that would have been marked as resistance, and these two other ones would have been green as support. So I'll just change them for purposes of this video quickly. And then the thing with BYND, guys, we remember it was a runner yesterday, right? So there was previous levels not far away. So you can see how yesterday in after hours we spiked up. We hit this as resistance, 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 came down, barreled through all those right out of the gate this morning at 4 a.m., came down, actually sat on that resistance as support. That's the importance of your support and resistance line. So, and yesterday, I don't think we got any higher than that. So you didn't have any future resistance lines after that. So again, let me just get to the open this morning, which was, where was it? Back here somewhere. So, oh, it was right here, right? So this is where the alert came out. You know, you would have been looking for a dip to support, so you could have taken this initial position right here, right at about $1.92, and then rode that up to somewhere in here about 201 or 205. Not a huge move, but a quick scalp. You could have still gotten out green, and then bam, we fell off, and we came all the way down to this initial support down here. We kind of held that. We bounced around. This was choppy in here. There wasn't really a whole lot of plays to be had until we got up into, what is this, 7 a.m. So at 7 a.m. we had a nice fall off, and then bam, we had a rally back up to $2, which is where we hit that resistance again. We fell off. This thing should have been on your radar all day, guys. You were essentially looking for a break of this $2. Once that happened, it was game over, right? I think it dipped down a couple times before or after that, but that was really the big, strong resistance that we knew we were looking to break. So once we got through that, we had a couple nice moves up. So, we rejected here. We pulled back. We had a VWAP bounce. We broke. We got back under. We came back up, and we finally held. So right here would have been a position at $2, and you would have rode that up to a high of 220, where we ended up with a double top. And then you could have, you obviously would have gotten out, and you would have been looking for, with this run up right here, there's not a whole lot of support in here. So you really would have been saying, well, I need a significant pullback, maybe all the way down into VWAP, right? So it almost got there before it had another run up for a new higher day of 225. And then once it got there, it fell off sharply again, right back to that initial support line. So the importance of drawing your support lines. I actually was done trading for the day by the time we got here, unfortunately. But with that said, you'll notice this blue box up here. That is marking my resistance zone. And I'll show you how that comes into play here in a little bit. So We had a VWAP reclaim, a 5-8-13 EMA break you could have played there with a nice giant candle here right up into our new high of day, 247. And that was our kind of resistance zone that we rejected for a while, right? We got up in here, we pulled back, we got back in there, we pulled back. It just could not handle that level, right? After that, we fell off under VWAP. We came over VWAP, we came back up. We just touched that resistance zone here. It did not like it. It pulled back, and finally we blasted through that resistance zone here. And once we knew that was clear, which it obviously was, not only did we break, but we broke well above it. That was definitely an entry in here for a ride up, a pull back, a ride up, and then a massive pull down, right? Once we got to this high, though, the 291, that was it on the day as of 1 p.m. So that was, it was a rally for sure. Everybody was super excited. This thing had all the hype on the day. When I actually got back to charts, this is what happened. I opened my computer, and my plan was to actually make and forgive me, my dogs are barking. My plan was to make a video on charting support and resistance, which I still have not done yet as I'm sitting here doing the recap for the day. But I am going to do that for you guys, which is going to be a super important video. It's going to clearly spell out what is support and resistance, how to chart it, and how to deal with it. It's going to be a really, really good video. I'm hoping it will be super useful for you guys. So anyway, I opened the computer, and where are we? We are literally, we had just made this new high up here, and we were climbing back down from that high, and I think we were like somewhere in here, right about 130. Now, when I opened when I opened the computer and I saw this, the BYND chart was what I was going to make a video on for support and resistance. So from there, what happened was I quickly shifted gears because I realized, hey, we have some serious resistant, a previous liquidity resistance zone here that had resisted, and we touched in here. And what I did was I realized, you know what? This thing, I'm going to draw this zone all the way across, because when we broke through over here, man, we slammed through that thing. So it didn't really have a lot of time to fill some of the orders that might have been left behind in here. So I drew that box all the way across, and I shifted my video from making a support and resistance video to actually doing a live paper trade. I didn't actually take the trade because I was done trading for the day. I had hit my goal, and that was it. So a big part of staying disciplined with trading is just that. So, but I saw this thing coming down, and I thought maybe, because I think it was right in here, I thought we might find support here and go. But I also thought, no, it needs a healthier pullback than that. And that's why I was looking at this zone here as a potential pullback. Well, guys, I mean, I made this video. The audio is in a live trade, so you can actually see it happening. The audio is horrible on it. I'm going to figure out a way to fix it and get that uploaded for you guys to see. But what essentially happened was it pulled back right into my zone at 247. And I voiced on here, that's it. That's my trade right there. Full size, large position, 247, and see what happens. Well, the video plays out for another 10 or 15 minutes. We end up getting this huge rally back up in here. I scaled out in this location because I was afraid of a double top. And when it pulled back in here, I exited my position in full. Little did I know this thing was going to go to the moon after that. But I ended up taking this climb from 248 back up to 285 just based off of the support and resistance. So I wanted to show you that quickly and how important it can be with charting so that you can find better entries. Anyway, guys, this thing today ended up running. It's still running. I mean, look at the size of this move. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Let's see what the percentage is on this move. We alerted at $1.98, I think, and it ran up to, well, let's just see what that is. Let's see. So it ran up to 480. So $1.98 to 480 is a 58% move. I mean, a pretty large move on the day for sure. And is that math right? It doesn't sound right. This sounds insane. I mean, $2 to $4 is a 50%. So yeah. So I guess that sounds right. Anyway, just a monster move on this guy today, and there was lots of different ways to play this thing in here. It would take me forever to break it down. I'm happy to do so if anybody wants that complete breakdown of just this play. But for purposes of the length of this video, we're going to move on. So that was BYND today. I still expect big things out of this potentially tomorrow and the rest of the week. So let's keep eyes on it for sure. We got RYOJ was the next one. RYOJ, that came through at 4:28 a.m. this morning. Let's take a look at how that looks. 4:28. So where are we? We're all the way back here. Another one that didn't do anything until later in the day. Just crazy. So we had an initial spike, right, on this guy, and that alert came through at 4:28 at 5:27. So that was actually right here at the bottom of this initial spike. So when you got this alert, you opened it up. This was like an immediate buy-in, although you weren't going to chase this candle. So what were you going to do? You're going to wait for it to close and then pull back. This would have for sure been your entry. We didn't quite get down to support, but in that initial pullback, when you saw that candle close and open green, that is your entry for, that is your signal for a go. We make a new high. We pull back, we nest nicely into the 1 minute 13 EMA, and from there we make a new high up. So all the way up to 820. So that thing ran from 527 to 820. Me and one of the other analysts were on this morning. I think we both played that play, and it went really well. So from there it fell off, and we didn't have any action except for some VWAP reclaim stuff until later in the day. So later in the day, we finally popped up in here. This would have been a hard play because it was just a slow grind. I mean, we were on VWAP all day. We fell below, we reclaimed, and it just kind of slowly grinded up. But look, we resisted that initial high. It pulled back. We broke through that high, and bam, things shot all the way up to 1140. I mean, just absolutely crazy. So if you had held that, I mean, another 50% move from the alert this morning. That was RYOJ. A great play, and that was actually a play from the other day as well. That thing was a monster. So just going to kind of keep cruising through the alerts here. Let's look at some other ones. Let's see. BOF. BOF was a good one. I actually played this early. We saw it spike in, and I didn't have a chance to get the alert out. So I think I played this well before this alert came out, unfortunately, but it is what it is. In this initial spike here is what happened. So this alert came out at 7:06. That was somewhere in here. So this candle here at BOF at $3.13. So it was actually in this location here. Yes. So BOF came out here. It had already made a high. We knew we had support down here, right? The best possible thing you could have done is just put a reference line under this and just say, all right, well, that's going to be support there. We were already in, by the time that alert came out right here, we had already made that high. We were kind of flatlining. Volume was falling off a little bit. We quickly popped up. You could have taken an entry on that, and it might have faked you out a little bit, and then we quickly fell off. Not quickly, but we then fell off. So it wasn't really, it wasn't really the best play, but you still could have caught like a quick, what's that, 30-cent scalp in there. So it fell off, and then we had another pop up here where we ended up breaking that resistance where you would have had a line as a high, except it couldn't hold. Then it fell off again. So there was no play in there. The rest of the day, it just kind of danced around. It didn't really do a whole lot. But this is, again, where it's super important to have your other strategies in play so that you know how to play these little intraday sessions. So anyway, I did just notice how this first pull up and first pull back to support lined up perfectly with this support. So that could have been, if you had that charted and you were watching, and we had this this huge fall off here, and we held support, we came up, we held again, we came up, we didn't quite hit support, and then bam, we had the EMA break. That could have been a little play in here from about 253, just over VWAP where it couldn't hold, but you could have possibly got all the way up here to 284. So that is the importance, again, of charting these lines so that when something's falling off, where it could potentially dive to, right? That would have been, a pretty nice entry. Let's kind of keep moving here through some of these. TELO, I don't think that did much, but we can still look at it for anybody that caught the alert and may have played it. Let's look. Yeah, I remember this one being funny. It had some volume, and then I remember it kind of falling off, which is exactly what we see here. So let's see. That came through at 731. That was actually no. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong day. Here we go. Over here. So that had run in after hours yesterday. And at 731, we got this spike here. And that alerted our system. We said, hey, this thing might get some legs, right? So 731 came through. We were on this doji candle. Well, you knew we had to at least get over this 190, right? And this thing was alerted at 180. So on this candle. So we fell back off. We came through. I mean, the volume just disappeared. We had some nonsense happening here. The volume just disappeared all day. There was just absolutely no play on that thing the rest of the day. So that's TELO. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes sometimes. Let's see. LITM volume spike came through. LITM at 502. Let's see how we would have played this guy. So that was at 7:33 in the morning. That was on this candle here. This candle here at 5:02. So that was right in this area here. The alert comes through here. By the time you see it, it's, this candle's probably closing or closed. We fell back off. You would have been looking for a drop to support, right? When you got this alert, what do we have for support here? Well, potentially this guy here, but that's really about it. I mean, you don't have much else to go off of. So had you marked the line there, you would have been doing okay because that thing went into a pullback and it actually held that support. You could have bought that. Got a little choppy in here and a little funny, but you definitely could have bought this support line right here and then rode it up from there. So that would have been a ride from 488 up to, the high on this wick, 560. So a big move, over $1 a move, actually. This was actually a pretty decent play had you been able to catch it that way. Now, if you waited for the break, you almost got it here. It rejected. Then we finally got it here, and then we finally retested that break somewhere in here. It would have been kind of a crappy play because it crapped out on you there. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. Obviously, when you're playing the break play of your resistance, it doesn't always happen that way, but that's just how this one worked out. So the play on this one was definitely to buy that support zone and then ride it up from there. Now, as I always say, you would have had a line here as potential resistance. And you probably, my intention is always as we go into this cup formation and we come back up, I don't really ever expect it to break. And I want to secure whatever green I got from here to here. So I always scale out here maybe about 75%. If I saw this pullback in here, I would have bailed for sure on that other 25%, thinking we're going down. So I would have definitely cut that position there. We would have gotten this break. I probably would have taken a new one quickly in here. It would have spiked up. It would have pulled back. I would have got out of this with like a break even, because once I saw this guy and, the huge red volume that it was, I would have just cut it. So, again, a very tricky play, but if you happen to buy it here and just kind of let this ride to see what happens, you definitely made out pretty well. So, we'll keep going here. Nerve came out with news, NERV. This was another good one today. We had news first at 8 and then a volume spike at 8:02 right after it, of course, because that is exactly what happened. So 8 o'clock, we brought this thing to you, which was right here. on this candle. And a volume spike says it was at 521. So that was 802. That was this guy up here. So when you got this news alert, it was here. Next candle opens. It didn't give you much of a pullback and go from there, right? This thing was awesome all day. So when you got this alert, it was on the news, it was here. When we get the volume spike, we were already in this doji. Now, doji for me kind of signals, or it's really, I mean, it could be a hammer, I guess, but I'm going to call it a doji. It really kind of signals, a reversal. So I would have, I don't know that I would have really liked that right there. We got another pop up though. So you could have just immediately opened this and saw that we had a tiny pullback and said, okay, well, that's all the pullback we're going to get into the body of this candle. You guys know I like to try to get to like 50% on the first initial spike candle if we can, if we have nothing else to go off of. Sometimes it's just not possible. So I would have for sure, once I saw this, I probably would not have, I probably would not have bought. I would have waited for the next candle for this guy. This one shot up. We go into a pullback here. Now at this point, what I really probably would say is like, hey, I need more of a pullback in here. I want to get in this location. But when we go in, when we have an initial spike like this, and then we go into sideways consolidation, it usually means, like, as long as this consolidation is holding a support line, which you can clearly see that it was, it usually means that we got another spike up coming. So, which is what happened here. And then we came down, tested VWAP, rode back up. It was kind of choppy for the day, or for the, for an hour or so in there. And then, bam, we got this monster leg up. It was just awesome. I mean, just volume poured in. It was just incredible. That was right at 940. So it was like basically right after market open. So you would have had to been watching this the whole time all the way through to really catch that. But certainly, like, as soon as you get this monster candle and you're working on this huge volume, you don't want to chase this candle. You want to let it close. But you can see the next one open, and it had a small dip in here. If we open this up on the 30-second, which is what I always do, you can see the next one opened and it just kind of hung out here, and it ended up pulling back in here to about 791. That would have been a buy right there. In fact, I'm almost certain that is a buy that I took and rode that up probably to somewhere in this location before I thought we had some exhaustion. I think I scaled here. We had a nice pullback. I held through this pullback. We got up here. And I think somewhere in here is on this last candle is where I ended up selling the rest of my position before we, kind of closed off. But and that was NERV. I mean, and then the rest of the day, just lots of opportunities to get in on that 5-8-13 strategy. I mean, under VWAP here, right? We pull that strategy out here. We ride up to there. We get these VWAP bounces. I mean, these are playable as well if you can get in and out quick. So that was NERV. It did have lots of opportunities on it, and we were happy to be able to get that one out to you guys. So I'm going to try and get to the end here just for purposes of this video, just to kind of see what popped up later in the day. Let's see. So this afternoon here was kind of tricky. We had a couple. We had SBEV and HHS. So we'll just kind of end the video on those. I don't think they did a whole lot, but let's look at them. SBEV wasn't horrible. We expected more out of it. It didn't quite go where we wanted to, but we did, it definitely had a jump. So SBEV was alerted at 456, which would have been let's see, right about in this location here. I think it was alerted finally in 456 in this location here at $338, which would have been right here. So immediately this was our high. You would have been looking for a break of that, which would have been here, and you would have rode to basically there by the time you had to get out. So that was really the extent of the SBEV move. It doesn't really add up to much. So So it wasn't the best alert. We saw it pop up on the scanners, but we just didn't like how it was not making any huge moves, and there was lots of wicks on it. So it was kind of a tough one. But from there, it fell off under VWAP, and it just kind of couldn't really recover. So that was SBEV, HHS. This was another quick one, but I think it had a pretty decent move. This alert went out at 5:06 at a price of 5:30. So I think that's like right here. I'm sorry, at 5:06 p.m. at a price of 5:30. That is correct. So is that wrong? Let's see. 5:06. No, that's right. 5:06 is this candle here. It's actually this candle here at 5:30, which is like up here somewhere. So we had the pullback. You probably would have taken, being that it was so fresh, like you would have wanted to see a pullback to here, but we did have to end up with this little pullback here, which would have told you, hey, that's worth going in with at least like half position, right? And it doesn't look like much of a move, but we moved from 5:08 up to 6:14. I mean, not a bad move at all. I have the chart kind of crunched down, so it's hard to see that, but let's see, from about here to there. So 18% gain. So again, it didn't really get the legs that we wanted it to, but regardless, it had a little decent scalp move on it. So not horrible at all. Guys, this was actually a really good day, comparatively speaking. Yesterday was pretty decent as well, so super pumped for this week. Really excited to see what tomorrow brings. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video here. Again, just for the interest of time, and I did cruise through that very quickly. So my goal is to make one of these each day, and it takes some time to kind of get through them. So I can't, unfortunately, go through all the tickers one by one, but I would love nothing more for anybody out there to comment from the alert group and look for a breakdown on maybe one that I didn't do here in this video. We are here to help you at UMB. That is our full intention. I mean, that is the reason why I'm sitting here making these videos. Being 6 o'clock at night, I could probably think of a few other things that I'd like to be doing, but I am here doing this for you guys. So the point is to break down some of these charts, even if I am moving quickly, and try and show you some of the key points. So for all you guys that actually made it here to the end of the video, that were just kind of listening in, that are not an alert member, that would like to be or would like more information on it, please get in the comments and let us know. We are happy to get you that information. Also, if you are not, following us on our Facebook or our Twitter or the other socials, please do so as well. All of this content is posted there, and we have so much more to offer, and a lot more that we are working on, and that is coming. So again, that is it for today, Tuesday the 21st. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you all tomorrow.